Radiant team.
Hello and welcome to a matchup between Team Audeamus and UCAP-e Esports. My name is Radnor and I have a co-caster here.
And my name is Evan. And we are casting, as you already said, the Audeamus versus UCAP-e Esports game. Our first bans are Wisp and Lone Druid on Team Audeamus. And on UCAP we've got Bat Rider and Dark Seer.
Pretty standard bans. Of course you don't want the initiation of the Bat Rider, or especially that relocate from Wisp. Lone Druid's a beast inside of his lane. And first pick is going to be Lifestealer from Team Audeamus. So
it's a really interesting pick, actually, seeing as with the new nerf from 6.78. I'm interested to see how they're going to play this now and the lane's going to go.
I'm interested as well. We've got a Magnus being picked up as well as Shadow Demon. Everyone knows Shadow Demon is a phenomenal support, and a Rubik's being picked up. Perfect counter for heroes like the Magnus, especially once he gets that level 6 spell steal.
That reverse polarity pickup, hopefully if Rubik can pick something like that up, maybe even, some of Shadow Demon's skills like Disruption, that could be a really viable pick in the lane. So not only is it a good team fight pick, but a very viable pickup in lane. I'm expecting to see something with like maybe an offensive tri-lane with Rubik and Lifestealer and whatever else they pick.
True, and we've got a Puck being banned out. Puck, of course, a phenomenal mid lane hero. No surprise seeing him banned out. How do you like these new ban and pick phases?
It's really interesting. I'm actually really interested in the way that they do this. It's it's a lot more balanced than it was before.
I totally agree with you there.
It's a totally they went back to the old pick phase that they used to have. They used to have it like this, the 2-2-1 pick phase, and then they changed it for Dota 2, and then it's coming back to it. It's really interesting to see how it it's coming back from like how it used to be. So it's really interesting.
I agree. We've got Keeper the Light will also be banned out. No surprise to see these bans so far. Pretty standard bans. Nothing really outlandish in these bans so far.
Yeah. Especially that IO ban. That IO ban's been, especially, they tried to put a nerf on IO with the new 6.78 patch, and there's, it really doesn't bring her down, or bring it down. I don't know what to call IO, but bring it down in any way. It's still a very viable pick, really useful for that gank, paired with a good hero. So, very standard ban. Bat Rider as well, Dark Seer. Interesting to see the Clockwork ban as well.
Gyrocopter!
And we do have the Gyrocopter pickup. This is going to be a nice pickup here for Team UCAP.
It is. Gyrocopter is going to be very viable throughout the whole game. I definitely see a Shadow Demon Gyrocopter lane coming. Tri-lane. I'm not sure who they're going to pick as their third hero. Nyx Assassin. That's one of those pickups you don't want the other team to get. That's going to be hard for UCAP to deal with throughout this entire game. That gank potential, that map presence from Nyx Assassin, never knowing where exactly he's going to pop up from is definitely a scary thing.
I totally agree with you there. One thing to note is on Team ECAP,
10 seconds
Sickoff
remaining.
is very good with that Gyrocopter. He is their number one, so he's probably going to be using that as the hard carry. That's one of his favorite heroes to be picking up, actually. So they're also going to be combining that with a Nature's Prophet. Nature's Prophet, of course, gives you great potential with that teleport. Global presence is nothing to even scoff at there.
Yeah. It's really interesting to see that pickup.
10 seconds
Everything's been
remaining.
pretty standard pickups. Everything's pretty standard bans so far.
5 seconds remaining.
Nothing too unique according to the the 6.78 meta, the new meta. I was gonna see. I thought there would be some new pickups, but pretty standard, and I think it's still gonna work out pretty well.
Well, one of the things is because it's such a new standard, it's not easy for a lot of these teams to switch out of their existing heroes. So a lot of them are still playing pre 6.78 hero picks. So
yeah, it's not unusual. Well, they're using up some of their reserve time here as Team Audeamus for their 4th pick.
Got good picks so far. Good team potential with the Magnus and Shadow Demon combo. Gyrocopter is a very good carry, and with that Nature's Prophet, you do have the good global domination ability as well as that split push. And
Split push, yeah, that right there, that is the biggest thing for Nature's Prophet. That split push and that map presence is huge out of Nature's Prophet, especially combined with all the other initiation potential from out of Gyrocopter, Shadow Demon. Maybe not necessarily Magnus is, when it comes to initiation, but Shadow Demon and Gyrocopter are perfect for that initiation. So
I totally agree with you. And Weaver's going to get picked up. That'll probably be an offlane Weaver played by Ritz. That's one of his favorite heroes. It wouldn't surprise me to see him picking that hero up here.
Dire team ban.
Yep.
And Storm Spirit is going to be banned out, keeping that hero off the mid. No surprise.
Yeah. And then the Leshrac ban. That is actually one of those things that I would have expected to be picked out of UCAP. A pretty standard tri-lane is the Leshrac Gyro Shadow Demon, so it's pretty common for that. Of course, we got Nature's Prophet jungling, so that's not necessarily gonna happen. But
and there's the Lina pickup for the final pickup for UCAP. Good pickup there. Great support from Lina, and just a very good team lineup overall. Definitely going to be a scary lineup to be going up against.
Definitely. Lina's a very viable pickup, especially against a Weaver. Weaver uses
10 seconds
Weaver uses his time lapse, and he's out of his time lapse. He can't get his health back. Lina just nukes him down. He can't really do anything else about it. So if Weaver can pop that time lapse, and Lina can get the nuke damage off, Weaver's pretty much out of there for that whole team fight. So interesting. I'm interested to see what the next pickup's going to be out of Team Audeamus.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure where they're going to go. They could go with something like the Bane pickup.
I'm not too sure. I mean, like you said, you got Weaver in the offlane. Maybe. I mean, they got to pick a mid hero, most likely.
They could go with Nyx Assassin in mid. He is a good hero for mid with that Spike Carapace, and the Impale is nothing to, it's a good skill to have. But
Admiral Kunkka.
There's the Admiral Kunkka pickup, actually.
Well, there you go. That's an interesting pickup. That's actually going to be pretty interesting to watch. I mean, you got Lifestealer, Weaver, and Kunkka here. 3 carries. So I'm interested to see who they're going to put in the safe lane and who they're going to support here.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a nice matchup here. Once we get into game, I'll announce UCAP and the lineup from there.
Sweet.
Okay, for Team UCAP,
All right.
we are going to have...
for battle.
So we've got Shadow Demon picking up the wards here. Sentry wards and his Observer wards, pretty standard. Going to move to place those wards, maybe counter ward here at the beginning. Nature's Prophet as well with the sentries.
And it looks like we're going to be having just some random laning in the beginning.
Sending that Trent to the jungle to try and sending that Nature's Call Trent to scout the jungle before they go through. So
30 seconds to battle.
And our lineups our lineups for the match are going to be Idea on Shadow Demon. We're going to be seeing Gex playing the Lina. We're going to see Sick of It on the Gyrocopter. We're going to see Stand-In King on the Magnus, and Sidon on Nature's Prophet.
There you go.
The battle begins.
So, alright, so right here at the beginning, we got Shadow Demon picking up the illusions, just leaving them there. So, denying the illusions for anybody, for the other team. So, offensive tri-lane with the Gyro, the Lina, and the Shadow Demon, and that's what I kind of predicted before. Not the Lina necessarily. I did see that, I really did expect a Leshrac to come out of there, but the band picked it up, and so now you're stuck with a Lina, which is fine pickup as well, but definitely an offensive tri-lane here. Going up against a Weaver in the bot lane. This is going to prevent Weaver from really getting any farm here.
Yeah, and you're going to see this Nature's Prophet's going to be having some problems up with this tri-lane up top. You've got the Life Stealer as well as the Nyx Assassin and Rubik. So, I mean, he's going to be shut out and have to go over to the forest here very quickly. And as you see,
Yep.
He's already decided to do that. No surprise there.
Yep.
Uproot you.
And there's not too many problems with, leaving a lane like that. I mean, seeing as it's a tri-lane anyways, the XP is going to be split no matter what, so leaving the Nature's Prophet to come to the jungle and leave the lane alone may not necessarily be the best choice, but it's not going to hurt them XP-wise, I wouldn't say.
I agree.
Now we got last hits out of Gyrocopter and Lifestealer equal. More denies out of Lifestealer. But farm's going pretty even right now with the Kunkka, the Gyro, and the Lifestealer all pretty much keeping up with each other here. Weaver with not even one last hit 2 minutes in, which is probably not the best thing. He could be using his Sakuchi to get in and get some last hits, get back out, but he's just getting harassed too much by the tri-lane here.
And we do have an invisible Nyx Assassin coming down to the mid lane. We're going to see if he's going to initiate on the Magnus in mid.
Oh, well, there you go. Good ward placement by Nature's Prophet. Put it right down right next to him just in case.
Very good awareness out of...
Somebody actually died.
Oh,
Blood.
wow.
Well, and we did miss first
There you
blood.
go. We did. Well, that I didn't see that coming. I kind of did, Weaver, but wow, there you go. So Nature's Prophet with the first blood on Weaver in the bot lane. I kind of expected Weaver to be the first blood here. I mean, he's just hasn't got any last hits. He's been harassed way too much. There's really nothing too much you can do about this. He's not. This is just not his lane right now, so...
We do see some good camp pulls coming out of the supports here up in the Dire Jungle.
There you go. Yep. Same with the bot lane right now. We've also got Lina pulling hero creeps right here. Leaving the farm to Gyrocopter. Gyrocopter's farming up really well with 17 last hits, 9 denies. It's not too bad of a start. We've also got our Lifestealer. Lifestealer's farming up really well. He's all the way up there by himself. He doesn't even have any harass at all up there. So, I mean, that's not necessarily a good thing. I mean, they're going to need to put some pressure on Lifestealer because he's going to be very viable in the mid game and the late game.
Disruption out on Weaver, and Weaver's going to fall very quickly to that rocket barrage.
Weaver just having a bad lane here.
Yeah, he's in a tough spot. He needs that farm, but they're very aggressive with their wards here. I mean, if you
They are.
if you see
Doing
the
a very good
wards,
job with the ward
they
placement,
are.
yeah.
They know that he's in lane. They're aware that
bottom tower
Shikuchi is
is
going to
under
come out,
attack.
and they're
Run,
not
little
even
bottom
going
tower.
to
Run.
have a problem with it, with the way that they've been warding.
Yeah.
Radiant's top tower is under
So,
attack.
as far as XP count, Magnus in the lead right here. Kunkka coming up next to him. Lifestealer, not surprising, coming up with the next lead in XP. He's been kind of getting his own lane here a little bit.
Dire structures are fortified.
That's going to be scary. That is going to be a scary lane right there. Or that's going to be a scary hero in the mid game, late game. That Lifestealer, if they don't do anything about it.
Yeah,
Initiation.
we see bad
Right.
Weaver in a bad position again, and the Dragon Slave is going to take him
Yes.
down.
Good for the Radiant.
And the tier 1
Radiant's
tower
top
drops.
tower
They're
no
just
longer
not giving
radiates.
him any peace whatsoever.
Nope.
Is under attack.
I mean, good for them though. I mean, they're keeping the harass up. Weaver's going to not be nearly a force as he usually is. So,
Gods, the Dire's bottom tower doesn't even have arms to defend itself. What? Radiant's top tower is under attack.
that disruption
About time.
leading into the Soul Catcher, the lean in with the Dragon
Bottom tower
Slough.
is under attack. Run, little bottom
You know, the
tower.
Rocket
Run.
Barrage, the combo has really worked out really well. Especially with the ward placement that they have. He can't even get away with the Sakuchi. He's not level 6, so he can't use his time lapse to reverse the damage in any way. And even if he could, the nuke that came out was just too powerful. There's nothing really much he could do about it.
Well, and he only lasts for a couple seconds against that combination there. We do see teleports coming in down on this bottom lane to give him some help, but Nyx Assassin's just
Some
gonna
much needed help.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's might be a little too late for Weaver though. At this point, and we're gonna have a disconnect
And
come
a
out.
tactical pause.
They've got some lag. We do have some different time zones being played from both teams. One team's in the EU area. We've got some of the team in the US East and some of the team for Team AU in US West. So there's a little bit of lag issues here and there.
Yep. Go ahead and look at the hero levels. Magnus is already level 6, as well as Kunkka, so have a little bit more presence now. Maybe going to see some little bit more aggressiveness out of the Magnus and the Kunkka here. Gyrocopter almost hitting his level 6, and like I said, not surprisingly, Lifestealer almost hitting his level 6 as well. He's been farming that lane by himself pretty much. You know, they've been pulling, and so pulling that jungle, and so there's really not that much that he needs more than that. He just farming the lane under the tower. He's got good last hit potential, so coming up close to that and fast. Current gold with Nature's Prophet 1080. You know, not surprised there as well. Nature's Prophet jungling at the bottom lane right now, actually.
Yeah, good aggression coming out from Team UCAP. I mean, they're doing what they have to do to keep this combination down. Lifestealer is an aggressive hero, especially mid to late game. But if you can keep him, at least the rest of his team suppressed, even if he starts to get big, it's not exactly going to help if you've got one huge hero of a Lifestealer and the rest of the team can just be wiped out by a couple of supports.
Yep. And that's what's making this game, you know, in UCAP's favor right now is, you know, they've got 3 kills and no deaths right here at the very beginning. I mean, all against Weaver as well. You know, Weaver's kind of feeding here a little bit, and, you know, it's going to give them an advantage, that Gyrocopter in the mid game.
Well, and we see on the gold graph, the gold's over 1,000 gold difference, and we've got over almost 1,000 XP difference for the Radiant side. Both of them in the advantage of the Radiant team. No real surprise there, and I mean, it's going to get worse the longer this game goes. That Magnus is just going to get bigger. He's going to get those reverse polarities off, and that RP is not. It's not a skill to disregard in a team fight. Even with the current nerfs from the 6.78, it still is going to be a nightmare to be going up against.
I mean, the damage wasn't what made it a viable choice in the first place.
Right.
The damage was, you know, it was
secondary.
kind of a mediocre nuke. Yeah, it was a secondary point towards, you know, what reverse polarity really did. And so nerfing the damage didn't really nerf exactly the hero itself and how he's played. So
And then the Weaver drops again to the Rocket Barrage Lina combo. The sentry ward placements are just amazing, and we see the Weaver is going to drop again.
By the gods.
You know, Weaver should really just stick out of this lane for right now. Maybe get some help here. There's really nothing he can do right now by himself. Kunkka right away using his ghost ship, coming straight in, misses it.
Just bad miss
barely
there.
misses it.
If that would have hit, he could have found himself in a good place. He missed
Dire's
both
middle
the
tower is
torrent
under
and
attack.
the ghost ship.
It has
So
no arms to defend itself.
Yep. Gyrocopter very close to dying here. He's not going to die, but he's very close. He's very low on health. He might need to go back to base here. Seems like they all rotated bottom here. We got
Dire's
Kunkka
middle
now
tower
farming the
is
bottom
all alone in
lane.
the world.
Nyx Assassin, Rubik, and Weaver were all, you know, rotating towards the bottom lane here. We got Weaver mid, Nyx Assassin mid.
you do see the shockwave come out, give some harassment on that Nyx Assassin.
Yep. And then, obviously here we've got Lifestealer still jungling. I mean, not jungling, still farming on his own here.
And
Getting that.
Gyrocopter just got a kill on the Kunkka, actually.
Wow. This lane, this tri-lane, there's really not much they can really do about this right now.
The Radiant.
No, they're destroying towers and heroes that just happen to walk into their way. I mean,
Yeah.
and it doesn't seem to matter who it was. Kunkka came down and was destroyed just as easily.
They really need to, they kind of need to pair up here. They can't go in alone. They keep going in alone. It's probably
Dire's
not
bottom tower has
the
fallen.
best decision.
It was a valiant effort.
Nice torrent out on Shadow Demon, but
Yep.
there's no follow-up. I mean, they don't have the ability to follow up, and it doesn't matter how low you get a hero. It's when you finally get the kill is when it matters, and he's just going to be able to go buy a TP scroll and head back to base.
Yep, just nothing. I mean, you know, it was a good torrent. It just, like you said, they can't follow anything up right now. It just seems like, you know, they're under leveled. Again, if you look at the charts that we were looking at earlier, now with a 3,000 gold lead from the Radiant, a 2,000 XP difference from the Radiant as well. I mean, there's just that difference at this point is just, it's unbearable. So there's nothing really they can do about that.
We did have a lane switch, and it looks like Weaver's going to be coming in mid lane, but Weaver being at level 5 against a level 8 Magnus is not a lineup you want to be going up against.
Especially Lena now with that Laguna Blade out, with the mid and the Magnus. I mean, there's really...
Dire's middle tower.
Looks like they're all rotating mid. We got a TP to mid. Sakuchi to initiate coming in.
No real fault. We do have X marks the spot out on Lena, and there's the turret.
Here comes the hit. Rubik coming in.
And the call down coming out from
Call
Gyrocopter.
down Lifestealer using his rage.
Beautiful
We got a-
disruption out
we
on
got a-
Gyrocopter.
We got a reverse polarity right out of Magnus here. Just went down from it though. Gyrocopter trying to run away here. Looks like he's gonna use his rage.
And X marks the
And
spot's out.
X marks the spot's
Gyrocopter's going to be
that's gonna put
dropping.
Gyrocopter down.
Open wounds are out on Shadow Demon. He almost
Yep.
got hit by the torrent, but he's
Yep.
going to be able to keep moving. That open wounds is going to be holding him there. There comes the defense or the disruption, and a beautiful,
Lena,
beautiful
Laguna
light strike
Blade,
array.
You can get that Laguna Blade out. Oh, no, the magic immunity here. She has Laguna Blade on cooldown. We're gonna
Just
get TP
barely
back
missed
from
that.
Magnus.
She just barely missed that Dragon Slave. She was trying to hit the Dragon Slave, and he was just out of range of it.
And there you go. That was a good team fight. I mean, they used pretty much all their ultis there. We got, you know, Magnus using his reverse polarity during the team fight. You know, Lena used her Laguna Blade. We also had Gyrocopter's call down right there at the start. Good initiation with that skill. But we're gonna see that it was really just, it didn't really favor anybody. It was a 3 for 3 there.
Well, and we did have Magnus just pick up his Blink Dagger, which will make him an even scarier hero in those team fights.
Oh, yeah.
If he wasn't scary enough to begin with, he's going to just be a nightmare coming in with that Blink Dagger initiation.
Oh yeah, that Blink Dagger on a Magnus pickup is just, I mean, that's definitely a team fight utility right there. We got Gyrocopter soloing the bottom lane right now, trying to get a little bit more farm. Nature's Prophet jungling. Magnus looks like he's going to go for the Ancients here. Rubik in the top lane by himself. Now that's unusual. Looks like everyone's mid. They're kind of losing their farm here. Lifestealer needs to try. Well, Lifestealer's still farming, but Kunkka right here just sitting here. Nyx Assassin walked through the jungle. Weaver just moving around. Looks like they're not getting too much farm, just sitting there.
Back to 4.
Oh, there you go. Look at that.
Beautiful, beautiful team. We had a nice Laguna Blade come out
Skewer
along
was
with that
gorgeous.
reverse polarity.
Skewer Shockwave with the Dragon Slave.
Yeah. I mean, the combination is just, it's almost impossible to
Dire's
fight
middle
against.
tower is under attack.
Yep.
It has no arms to defend itself.
Well, the new 6.78 nerf to the BKB. I'm not too sure how we're kind of we're actually going to see a BKB pickup in this game. Most likely, but like I said, 6.78 nerf to the BKB. That's a very significant nerf. The 1 second nerf to the BKB with that 6th level is huge, especially in the team fights.
I agree. And that, I mean, you're still going to see it picked up, but you're probably going to see people a little less likely to use it in certain situations that they normally would have before.
Yeah. It's definitely not as useful as a pickup as it was before. I mean, it's definitely very useful pickups, but the 1 second, again, is huge, especially in those team fights. And that's if it's if it's an early pickup. I'm not too sure. I don't really see anybody coming around to pick it up. Alina building towards a mechanism. She's got her buckler right now. Looks like we're gonna have. Yep.
Here comes the disruption,
Initiate a disruption.
as well as the light strike array, and the
Yep.
skewer's going to come out, and Rubik drops almost instantly.
That disruption initiation is just gorgeous. Looks like we got the open wounds on Disruptor right here. Rage popped out. Kunkka using his ulti. They get the kill on Disruptor. I mean, they get the kill on Shadow Demon.
X marks the spot's going to come out, and Lena's going to fall.
That was a good pickup. That was good for AU. They needed that.
Attacked.
Magnus just gonna back out here. Really nothing he can do too much about it right now.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Gyrocopter's still solo farming the mid lane. Well, looks like we got a rage again. Open wound.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. It has no arms to defend itself.
Yeah, I mean, that's the last thing you want to do is let Gyrocopter just sit there and get free farm. I mean,
Yeah.
he's already a nightmare to begin with, and if he just gets free farm, it's going to put him out. And, I mean, they had to do what they had to do, and they went and got that kill on him. He is going to be building towards that BKB. He just picked up his Mithril Hammer. So he's still got a little bit to go, but he's building towards it, and that'll give him some extra survivability in the team fights, letting him get that call down out like he needs to.
Yep. Now, as for last hits and denies right now, Lifestealer coming out with 83 last hits. Looks like we're gonna have an initiation with the Impale. Looks like Shadow Demon went down. Pickup went to Lifestealer.
X marks the spot out on Lena again. Torrent's going to come in, and the
go.
Lifestealer's going to
The
get
call
the
down.
kill. Beautiful RP catches out
Yep.
Rubik only, though, but he's not able to steal it. We're going to see this.
Gyrocopter went down.
Gyrocopter
Lifestealer's getting down
were-
right now.
And Magnus barely staying alive. One more hit
There
from
they go.
Kunkka, and Magnus drops.
That was a team wipe. That was a really good play by AU. I mean, this is surprising seeing this come out right now. As far as their, how at a disadvantage they were here. To pick up that team fight was a huge boost to their team right here.
Well, and it's exactly what they needed. They needed to get in there and kill not just certain members of the support, but they needed to literally get kills on the carries as well. And that's going to bring them back into this fight when they were getting rather behind with every team fight. You saw them get the kills that they needed in there, and it's going to be enough to actually probably bring them back up into this matchup.
Oh, well, yeah, actually, that brought them into a 3,000 XP advantage here.
Well, and you're going to see here, the armlet has been picked up on Lifestealer. That's going to be giving him the extra damage he needs as well as that survivability with the toggle.
Yep, You know, that armlet toggle is huge and right now in the meta game, so being able to pick that up, and you know, he's using it for his jungle right now. Armlet is huge pickup on Lifestealer.
Oh, without a doubt. And I mean, by being wiped, you're going to see that Gyrocopter's still nowhere closer to getting his BKB than he was a couple minutes ago. It literally just set him back, and that's not where you want to be as a Gyrocopter. Gyrocopter is very item reliant, and without that,
Radiant's bottom tower has
he's
seen better
just
days.
not the powerhouse that he needs to be.
Just, yeah, exactly. So, Lifestealer at level 12, Kunkka at level 12, stand-in Magnus at level 12, or at level 11. It seems that right now, you know, as far as hero level goes, AU is actually, you know, a little bit ahead here.
Well, and the big difference is in the items. Oh, we have a smoke coming out. That could be big. There's pings instantly on the smoke, though. I mean, it was almost instantaneous, which is amusing because there's no wards out in that area. Just good knowledge of where the team is as a whole.
Yeah. We also see that sentry right here. So that sentry, you know, that smoke, not too sure how that would have helped, but
Well, we've got very good vision coming out from both teams, but especially this Radiant team. They're being very aggressive and dewarding,
Yep.
and a huge ancient
yeah,
stack.
very big stack. I was about to mention that. That is a huge stack, and it looks like it's going to Gyro here, trying to get, you know, Gyro fed a little bit more here.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he needed. He needs those items, and they've been pulling that stack for quite a while. That looked like at least a 5 stack,
Yeah,
a 4 or a 5. So I mean,
that's huge. It's good. It's good for what he, you know, he really did need it. I mean, that's huge for their team right here.
well, and that'll be bringing him way closer to his BKB, which will in turn help him in that team fight because he's been dropping very quickly, and we have a Shadow Blade coming out on Nature's Prophet.
Interesting.
Good
Shadow
pickup.
Blade, yeah, good for, you know, good for what he's probably going to be using it for. That split push, going to a different lane, being able to push the lane, Shadow Blade, TP out, good, you know. I mean, being able to place those trees around him, get into a secluded area and TP out is huge for him, and you know he's going to have that map presence a lot better now. I believe.
Oh, without a doubt. And it'll give him that survivability. As he's split pushing, he'll be able to just jump into his Shadow Blade, and he won't have the worry of being picked off as quickly. We do see Gyrocopter picks up his BKB finally. That
it's
ancient
coming right
stack.
to him.
That ancient stack was the big reason for it there.
Yep. Gyrocopter with his BKB. Lina still heading towards that mechanism. Hasn't picked it up yet. Magnus got his drums, his blink dagger, and we see Shadow Demon. You know, just standard Shadow Demon, using him as for his skills. Not to see, you know, doesn't really need too many items. You know, he's got his smoke at his seat right here. Nothing really too much going on with that.
Nice pickup there with the mechanism for Lina, though. She just finished it, and that will be definitely helpful in the team fights.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, that mech pickup is huge for, you know, being able to sustain in a team fight for the time that they need it. So,
well, especially on the supports. And the tier 2 is going to drop in mid. They're losing the ground. AU is not. They had a good team fight, but they're not able to get the push that they want, especially with a Nature's Prophet. And I mean, he is just doing the split push like he's supposed to, and he's doing it well. He's keeping them diverted.
there's really not much. They don't really have that much push potential coming out of AU now. With UCAP, they have their whole team is pretty much push oriented with the Gyro and the Nature's Prophet, and they're pretty push oriented here with the Lina as well. I mean, so I mean they definitely have the tower advantage here coming out. I'm interested to see how that's going to affect their gameplay, as far as positioning goes.
Well,
I mean, it seems that
and they are losing ground, which is not a position you want to be in. As well as the gold. The gold's substantial. The gold difference from losing towers can definitely be a make or break in a situation.
yeah. From losing the towers here, still the XP advantage going towards AU, but with the gold, I mean, that it's not really going to matter. Your skills aren't going to matter too much if you can't really use them effectively with your items. So, with the item pickup, or with all the item pickups out of UCAP here, it's going in their direction.
Well, and you see, AU's not even willing to initiate. They're here behind the tower, and they're just not even calling the rest of their team up to initiate on the heroes that were here. It's almost like they're being timid.
Yeah. Understandably, though. I mean, there's really nothing too much they can do about this.
I love the X marks the spot on Kunkka. He wants to be able to go in and do some damage to the creep wave, but he himself wants to be the one going back to the spot of safety.
Yeah.
Oh, that's got to hurt.
Looks like they're going to take this top tier too.
Yeah, it's just dropping. I mean,
Quickly. Very quickly dropping here. Look, I mean, just straight away.
nice
Looks like they're going to
fortification.
get a deny out of it. Yep, it looks like they're initiating. Lifestealer going in.
Fortification
Got slow,
came out
can't
at
really do much.
19 seconds. Or 19 health.
It's ridiculous, man. Got that deny out right away. Doesn't matter. Still went in UCAP's direction here. They definitely have the tower advantage. Looks like if you look at the bottom lane, Lifestealer's pushing. Looks like we got a call down out of Shadow Demon's gonna go down.
Shadow Demon drops very quickly. We see the Torrent
Lina going
coming
down.
out on Magnus, the reverse polarity, and Nyx Assassin's
The
going to drop.
skewer.
The Skewer's going to come out, and
Gyrocopter
it's
going down.
It's
Looks like-
Kunkka's going to
yep.
be the one to drop as well. Lifestealer's going to chase the Magnus, and it's all going to be down to the Rage is
Wow.
going to come out, but there's the medallion. They're not going to be able to. Oh, that beautifully taken down.
Good job.
Magnus drops there to an infest.
Well, it went for Weaver there.
I saw
but
that.
The infest was definitely where the damage came from. Looks like we're gonna Lifestealer's actually gonna pick up a Skull Basher here, coming up with a Skull Basher now. Pretty standard pickup on Lifestealer. It's not unusual to see a Skull Basher on a Lifestealer. So looks like they're gonna smoke up and go towards. Looks like they're gonna smoke up and go towards bottom, middle.
I mean, that's the thing. As soon as they leave their base, they have to worry that this Nature's Prophet up here is going to be pushing, and that's exactly what he's doing.
Yep.
If you watch, as soon as the fight has
Got a
been
Roshan
taken away, and Lifestealer is going to be going in for the Roche, but, I mean,
The Radiant's bottom tower has seen better days.
it looks like they're
Looks,
going
yep.
to be able to take it without much contest from the Radiant team.
Ultimate price.
Absolutely no contest at all. I don't even see them. I don't think they realize it in the least bit here.
Beautiful
Gyrocopter
pickup
is
there.
farming here.
Nature's Prophet got a kill on the Dyer's Courier. They had called it out to the Roche pit, and Nature's Prophet got a beautiful snipe of the...
Nice, very good, very good. Nature's Prophet really good at that kind of thing. Looks like, obviously he's going to Lifestealer here. Lifestealer's very low on health. He's going back to base. He's going to refill here. He's going to use that Aegis of Immortal to actually get the push that they really need. They don't have that push right now. And so being able to pick that up is actually very viable for what they need to do here.
I totally agree, and I'm a little surprised at UCAP for just letting them come in and take the Aegis without any contesting of it. I mean, when you saw the Courier coming out and you sniped the Courier from Nature's Prophet, that should have given you some kind of warning that they were going to be going for something like the Roche. And to let them just take that freely could have been a majorly bad choice by UCAP.
Definitely a bad choice out of UCAP there. They could have some kind of contest going out, but it didn't happen, and now we're just gonna see, how they're gonna play with it, how they're gonna roll with it here.
Gyrocopter does have a Demon Edge picked up. He's probably going to be going towards his MKB here. And
We got a Daedalus on Kunkka.
no surprise. That's a great pickup for
surprise.
him, giving him that extra crit damage that he is very useful with.
Very useful with that. I mean, that damage that he gets out of it with that AOE, it's just a huge damage AOE nuke at one point when it comes to him.
We see the Sprouts coming out to defensively keep Nature's Prophet. The Torrent, he's going to be in a bad position. He's going to try to TP out, but the damage being dealt to him was ridiculous. He was dropped very quickly, and that medallion has been being very well used.
Yeah.
From
Looks like
Weaver.
Lifestealer went down, and Lifestealer's going down. He's dead right away there. The skewer and the rocket barrage came out right away. The call down came on him, and Lifestealer just went down. Lifestealer used up his Aegis. That was probably not a good idea. He just went out there and just went on his own, thought he could take some people down, didn't get any kills, and just ended up feeding the other team there.
Well, and
like-
Magnus did fall as well. He fell to the Nyx Assassin, but
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. If we look at the XP graph, we're going to see it swinging the way of the Dire. It's almost a 6,000 advantage for the Dire, as well as the gold graph has
Radiant being super far ahead in gold
yeah,
here.
they're over 7,500 in advantage for the Radiant team. So, I mean, the gold has definitely gone the way of the Radiant, but as for the experience, it's going in the way of the Dire.
Yeah, it's it's not hard to believe that either. Like you were saying earlier, the towers being picked up and taken down really allows for that gold advantage to be much higher out of the Radiant side here. Not necessarily XP, because XP doesn't really come from the towers, but that just means that AU has a better team fight presence. They've definitely been doing better in their team fights. AU has. But as far as actually having the map control, having the push power,
And we have a Blink Dagger being picked up by Nyx Assassin. A good pickup for an item there. He's going to have that initiation that he needs, and it's going to help them with their potential for the team fight. The problem is they still don't have that push potential. When it comes down to it, it's a Nature's Prophet has been pushing tremendously well. And you've got this Dire team who are doing great in the team fight, but they're having a big struggle in the push race.
Yeah. Definitely not competing here when it comes to pushing. Radiant definitely has that advantage. Last hits, as far as last hits goes, we have a Nature's Prophet with the most last hits. Obviously here with the, excuse me, I had to cough there. With the split pushing that he's been doing, he's definitely got the last hit advantage here. Lifestealer coming in second, Kunkka third. Kunkka and Lifestealer, pretty much neck and neck there.
Well, and if we look at the net worth, Nature's Prophet is ahead at over 12,000 net worth, and Gyrocopter's on top of that. It shows. You've got the Ultimate Orb has already been picked up. I'm sure he's going for his side device.
We got Gyrocopter went down there. We got a Rage. We got a oh man, Rage, the Infest, Magnus backing out with his Blink Dagger here. Good team fight. Good team fight. We're gonna see Shadow Demon, Gyrocopter, and Lena going down in that team fight. Lifestealer having to. This is gonna help with their push. Like I said, their team fight's been a lot better at AU, and now with that pickup that they had there, picking out those 3 heroes, it's just gonna help them be able to push like they can't usually. So.
Well, and
looks like we're actually gonna see the Scythe of Vice on Nature's Prophet here.
Yeah, you saw him building towards it. He had that Ultimate Orb. You knew what he was building towards. And that is going to make him even scarier in those team fights. He's not a hero to disregard to begin with, but give him that Scythe of Ice and he can take down a hero, and by himself with those treants. So,
so we got Nature's Prophet actually just went down. He's picking it up, and he just went down. Kunkka picked him up. Used his trees to surround himself, but Kunkka just followed it up with using his torrent there. So they're gonna pick up the kill on Nature's.
Well, and that's a beautiful counter pick for something like the Nature's Prophet. Usually he's defended inside of those trees, but when he pulls the sprouts, it gives that Kunkka a beautiful, beautiful advantage to know exactly where he's going to be.
Yeah, you know, it actually helps Kunkka at that point because Kunkka doesn't need to try and land a good torrent because he knows he can land that torrent anytime he wants to now at that point.
I totally agree. And so, I mean, when the Kunkka is nearby, I would almost avoid using the defensive sprouts.
Oh yeah, I would have just gone straight into your Shadow Blade, but he, you know, it wasn't a very good idea to use his Shadow Blade and then immediately attack afterwards. He should have waited a little bit and, you know, for the cooldown to come back, then attacked, and then Shadow Bladed back. But, you know, probably not the smartest idea, especially against Kunkka and a Weaver. Trying to take them both on by himself was not a good idea.
I agree. And we did see Gyrocopter here taking out that Ancient Camp. It was stacked quite nicely for him here, and he is building towards that MKB, which will definitely give him a nice advantage in the team fight. Some very good damage to be dealing, and that's exactly what they need right now. They are at a disadvantage up against this dire team, and it's all because they're not able to deal the damage quick enough. Surviving doesn't matter if you can't kill the heroes that are backing you.
Looks like Magnus's might go down here. He had to use a reverse polarity just to take down. Had to use a reverse polarity just to try and take down the Nyx assassin here.
And I mean, when you have to use a reverse polarity in a defensive position, it's never a good thing. We have telekinesis coming out. Beautiful call down, but the rage is going to be up on the Lifestealer.
Go down here. Looks like Lena's going to survive here. We got a Laguna Blade coming right out. Weaver's gone. That was a very good Scythe of Vice play right there.
Beautifully done. Nice sprout too. The X marks the spot's going to bring him back there. We do see.
Yep, that skewer right there, bringing him straight towards the tower range.
And the tower is what is going to bring Kunkka down.
Yep, Lifestealer trying to go in on ball. Looks like, I'm not too sure how this is going to work out here. Lena, if she can just get that. Yep, Leah, there you go. That Lena, I was talking about that Dragon Slave. If she could just get that right out right away, then, you know, Lifestealer's going to go down. Probably not a great idea if Lifestealer trying to go down, try 1v1 on Lena with low health like that. Marmalade Toggling is not going to help you against a high damage nuke out of Lena, so.
Well, and especially when he had been brought right under the tower. We do see Refresher Orb coming up on
Interesting.
Magnus. They're not screwing around. They know that they're at a slight disadvantage, and the only way they're going to beat that advantage now is to use that reverse polarity twice.
Yep.
And
we
MKB's
got the MKB, yep, we thought about that. You were talking about that earlier, the MKB pickup on Gyrocopter. Not uncommon, very good pickup, good idea. It's going to be interesting to see how the rest of this works out, because you can see that the big items are definitely going towards Radiance side, UCAP here. So, I mean, even the level advantage, I mean, I'm surprised to see, you know, UCAP losing these team fights with, you know, the item advantage they have. It's just, I don't know if it's bad play or I'm not too sure how, you know, how they're losing these team fights.
Well, a lot of it has to do with that Lifestealer. Lifestealer does have the Basher, and when you're bashed, it gives you, I mean, it doesn't matter how much damage you do, you drop quickly to a Lifestealer with the Basher.
Yeah. I talked about that at the beginning of the game. I knew that, you know, having a solo Lifestealer solo farming was not, you know, a good idea. You shouldn't let Lifestealer farm there. You know, you could have ganked, you know, a little bit, and you would have been able to nerf this Lifestealer in the mid game here. But you know, they just kept going for Weaver, and you know, Weaver's not a presence anymore. But I mean, it's not a, you know, you'd rather have a little bit of presence out of Weaver without. If you could have, you know, less of a presence out of Lifestealer here, Lifestealer just too farmed up, you know.
Well,
it's just a huge advantage with that guy here.
And he gets really beefy, especially in this mid to late game. Once he starts picking up items, he's going to be very hard to beat. And we see Roche being taken out by the Radiant team this time.
Looks like, oh, they actually picked up on it. Looks like they're gonna, AU's gonna come in here. Weaver going in. Looks like Nature's Prophet's gonna block off with his trees, so people can't get through. Disruption.
Beautiful,
like coming out.
Beautiful reverse polarity using that choke point. There comes Refresher Orb, uses it again, and he's going to skewer them up to the high ground. There goes Roche.
Not too much damage done, but the Roche is gonna be picked up by Gyrocopter.
Gyrocopter's almost at 0 health.
Yep, call down, beautiful call down. Looks like, not a very good idea using that Aegis right away. Looks like
Weaver's gonna drop here.
Yep. Weaver and, oh wow, look at that team. You know, it's almost a complete team wipe here. Kunkka's the only one left. Kunkka is going to probably back up here. We got a buyback of Weaver. Checking out buyback status. Everyone has a buyback status here. Lifestealer has one. The only one that doesn't have is actually no. I'm sorry. Nyx Assassin and Rubik don't have buyback. Lifestealer has a buyback, so if anytime he needs to use it, Lifestealer can get that buyback. Rubik coming back.
Just like me.
They're pushing that bottom lane and that mid lane a little bit here.
And the tier 3 is going to drop, and they're going to put the pressure out on the racks. Torrent beautifully hits
Lena's going
Lena.
down.
She is going to be able to barely get away.
Yep.
Beautiful Light Striker
Picking
raid
up
as well
that
as the
Weaver
Dragon
again.
Slave, and there goes Weaver.
Yep, that boat. Just a little bit of a miss there. Looks like call down coming out.
Beautifully done.
Double call downs.
X marks the spot's going to come out. We're going to see the Gyrocopter get hit by Torrent, but Kunkka's the one running for his life. He has very low health, and there goes that flat cannon.
Looks like they're picking up the range barracks here.
And
The range barracks is
Magnus,
going to go down.
Magnus just was going to aggressively follow that Nyx Assassin, and he took him down, and that's both racks. And we see AC out. Assault Cuirass is coming out for the Nature's Prophet.
Now that's definitely an interesting pickup. Assault Cuirass on Nature's Prophet. Not necessarily interesting, but it's definitely going to be a huge presence for the team fights here. I mean, they like I said, they haven't had team fight presence. Maybe their solo has been a little bit better, but with the AC pickup, maybe that they're probably going to have a little bit more of an advantage here with the team fights. AC is always a viable pickup when it comes to those. There's some pretty standard team fight pickups that you have to go for. The Scythe of Vice, the Mechanism, the Pipe of Insight, and, AC is one of those.
I totally agree. And this Nature's Prophet is just very aggressively pushing, and it's because of him that they have to keep an eye on this top lane as the rest of the team comes in and pushes whatever other lane they feel like. And now, especially since he is pushing that bottom lane.
Pushing that bottom lane. AC pickup on Lifestealer. Looks like, they got that counter AC coming up.
Well, I guess he figured that they couldn't just let Nature's Prophet be the only one sporting the nice Assault Cuirass there.
And we saw that Lifestealer was probably going to pick that up anyways with that, he had that Hyperstone already, so
Yeah.
it wasn't unusual for him to do that.
Vendetted up, beautifully vendetted up Nyx Assassin, but Lifestealer's just going to...
Yep, just Lifestealer getting away, Kunkka just barely missing that.
Yeah. Nature's
Got a
Prophet
question mark.
beautifully just was able to teleport out of there.
Yeah, he just went between those trees and used that and just teleported away.
Some trash talk coming
Some
out.
trash, yeah, it looks like some trash talk coming out here.
Approach you.
Okay. I don't know why.
No, I'm not too sure why either. Right after that engagement with the Nature's Prophet there, after he TP'd out, some trash talk came out. I'm not too sure what it was about necessarily, but
I guess he said it was bad manners. I'm not sure what was. I missed it.
yeah, I wasn't too sure what was bad manners either there. Looks like Magnus is going to go to the top lane here. Try and get some last hits, get a little bit more farm going. Not probably the best idea to be alone in the top lane. I mean, even as a Magnus with a Blink Dagger, it doesn't really matter. Having, being alone against a Lifestealer, a Rubik, and the Weaver up there, all, well, it looks like, he's moving out of the lane now, but it probably wasn't a great idea to try to push that lane by himself because he doesn't have any way of really getting away.
Well, and it just shows how ballsy he is. He's literally just... He's showing that he is the mighty Magnus up in the top lane all by himself. I mean, he is...
He's not afraid, is he?
No, he's doing whatever he wants to do. He knows that he's very easy to pick off. You've got a Rubik on the other team. He could use the telekinesis. You could come in and have the Impale come out from the Nyx Assassin. I mean, he could be dropped
right away using that open wounds. I mean, there's really nothing too much that he could do about it, to be honest with you. But, they're just letting him do whatever he wants. And, he's just going to keep getting that farm. He's just going to keep pushing that lane. And there's, again, there's really nothing that they're doing about it. And It's probably not that great of an idea out of them either. You know, they just can't just leave him there.
Well, and we have a Desolator pickup on the Nature's Prophet.
Nature's Prophet. Yeah.
He's
Nature's
not
Prophet.
screwing around. He wants to deal that damage. He wants to take them down, and that Desolator will allow him to disregard that armor. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah. I mean this is pretty standard, you know, carry Nature's Prophet that we've got going here. The Hand of Midas at the very beginning was, you know, definitely proportional to the way he's being played with the Assault Cuirass, you know, the boots, the power charge, the Desolator, the Shadow Blade, the Scythe of Vice. He's a very viable presence here right now. He's definitely, you know, carry worthy,
Well,
especially with that Deso.
And we have a Scythe of Vice pickup on Magnus. Magnus coming out
So
with that
double
Scythe of
Vice is going to be it's going to be huge for their team fights.
As if it wasn't bad enough with just the one. And look at that tower drop quickly. The Mist Torrent and the Tier 3 drops almost instantly.
Yeah.
You have Lifestealer infested up. They're going to come in on Gyrocopter.
And Gyrocopter popping his BKB. He's trying to run away here. It's really nothing to do about it. The trees popped up from Nature's Prophet on
Beautiful reverse polarity catches up Lifestealer.
Looks like we've got Scythe of Vice up on Weaver. He's going down.
Ghost Ship hits Magnus, but I mean, no follow up. The reverse polarity.
Again, there we go. Then, you know, he's Rubik's going to go down. The
Beautiful Laguna Blade comes
awesome
out,
play.
and Kunkka
Awesome
drops,
play.
and that should be GG. And there it is.
That was it. Yep, that was the GG.
I'm not surprised.
Good call.
At this
Yeah, I
point,
wasn't-
we're 43 minutes in. There really was no surprise to see the GG called there.
Yeah. You know, especially with that pickup right around near the end, that Desolator with that just that last pushing potential. It's that little bit more in that push. You know, that 5-man wipe, just everything about that. You know, that was a good game. Good pickups, good advantage.
That was a good game. The definite MVP for that game, in my opinion, goes to Nature's Prophet. Very well
Nature's
done.
Prophet, very well
He
done.
was pushing the lanes very effectively.
Yeah, and again, you know, another really good player of that game, another MVP that I'm not too sure, but the Standing King, you know, Magnus, he did a really good job as well. I mean, he got some really good reverse polarities off that game, and I wasn't too surprised to see that.
Well, yeah, with 11, 4, and 8 to the Magnus, I mean, he did very well in that game. And when a Magnus has the money to pick up a Refresher Orb and a Scythe of Ice on top of his standard Blink Dagger, I mean, it just shows that he had some gold coming in.
Yep.
That was a very great game. UCAP's going to pull it off here. We're going to go to the second game in just a couple minutes and look forward to that.
All right.